Yo, welcome back to the Nerds with Glasses podcast, your number one gaming podcast on YouTube. I am your host, Knowledge.
And I'm Javi. Welcome to our podcast this week. It's all Star Wars this
Star
week.
Wars week.
And the podcast is no different.
Star Wars edition of the Nerds with Glasses podcast.
Yeah. We're not going to be getting into gaming news. There's been a lot of news. We're going to have to save that for next week.
Itchy news that we want to talk about. Yeah, we'll save it for next week, but we really wanted to do this before the movie came out because we're just going to talk about what we think the legacy will be. Obviously, even if we're going to talk about it next week, but even then we're not going to know what the legacy will be. But it's one of those things where we want to kind of get a before and after, impressions thing. And plus, we're going to talk about a lot of different stuff, Star Wars related, just cool topics where people talk about, Star Wars.
Exactly.
So, first thing, we wanted to rank the Star Wars movies, the main 6 movies.
Yes, we're gonna rank the prequels as well. We know.
Yeah, we know they're terrible. We know they're the bottom 3.
Yes, they're bottom 3. We already know that, but we're still gonna rank every movie. And we talked about this a little bit before we started.
Yeah.
And our lists are very. I think it's
identical.
It's exactly the same.
I think a lot of people would rank it exactly. Well, no, I think people will give Phantom Menace. So here's our list. Okay. So we agreed we have the same list. We're not even gonna debate this. We're just gonna say the list and then say why we think so. The worst number 6 to me is Attack of the Clones, Episode 2.
Okay.
So you disagree with
that?
No,
not that I disagree. It's just that those two, obviously the bottom 2 for me are definitely Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
I don't even remember those movies, so I can't say which one was worse.
You don't remember them in detail or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, for me, Attack of the Clones is... Well, we'll get into why. So let's just list them. So number 6, Attack of the Clones. Number 5, Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
Number 4 is Phantom Menace.
You want to cut it there and talk about those and then go, or do you just want to talk about the whole list?
We can split it. Yeah, we can split it. All right, so for me,
because I honestly... I've seen all the movies, but I know, I guess, more about Phantom. I remember more about Phantom Menace than I do even the original trilogy, just because it's been so long since I've seen those.
And Phantom Menace is, I think, where a lot of people would disagree with us. I think almost everybody would put.
Well, I think I don't know about you, but I think there's only one reason we rank it higher than the other two.
Yes.
One main reason.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, actually, maybe 2.
True. Well, okay. So the worst one for me is Attack of the Clones. The reason it sucks the most is because Anakin is a whiny little emo bitch ass. He's the most annoying. He's more
really
annoying.
He was really annoying to me in
Phantom Menace and Revenge.
He was at least in Phantom Menace. He's a kid.
Yeah, at least you can give him that.
Yeah.
It's
Granted, I guess he's not supposed to be that much older. Yeah, the other two, just the actors just look so much older.
Well, yeah. If I know I'm a little off, but if I'm not mistaken, in Phantom Menace he's 9, and in Attack of the Clones is 6-7 years later, so he's 15, 16.
Yeah, which is he looks like he's already out of high school, you know.
He does. He's not a little pimple faced freshman.
It doesn't work. It's because Harry Potter, granted, he's supposed to be very young too, but you see him age and it's the same actor.
Yeah.
This age difference is just
oh shit.
Damn, Anakin grew up.
So for me, that's the main thing, because he is annoying in Revenge of the Sith in parts, but in some parts he's not bad. He's actually,
Well, yeah, because that's him really turning.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my main thing. What do you have anything else you hate about it? I think that the plot is stupid. I don't think the plot goes anywhere.
Well, I guess you could say that about the entire prequel trilogy. The overall. I mean, they were just trying to basically. I don't know what they were trying to do, but whatever they were trying didn't work.
Yeah, it's just there's so much filler in there that doesn't need to be in there. There's actually a great edit online on YouTube called a Phantom Edit. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I have not.
Okay, so what a Phantom Edit is somebody edited all the 3 prequel movies down into 1 2-hour movie. And it's really good because he focuses on the main story, and the main story is Anakin turning, and nothing else outside of that really matters. You know what I mean? And
Because they focus a lot, like part 2, they focus a lot on the clones and all that.
Yeah, and it just I I can't even start. Okay, well, first, like I said, he's a whiny little bitch. I hate that. It sucks too because Hayden Christensen is a good actor. Like, I've seen him in movies where he's done really good, like Life as a House.
See, the only movies I can remember him are that one and the one where he teleports.
Oh yeah, that one was that was okay. That was
yeah,
okay.
but I mean,
it wasn't a great movie.
Yeah, those are the only ones I can remember with.
Okay,
him.
well, in Life as a House, he was a whiny little bitch too, but he was supposed to be a whiny little bitch, so it worked. And Jenna Malone, and and also I forget the name of this movie, but he's a news reporter. And he makes up stories like it happened in real life. It's a really good movie, and he's really good at it too. He's also a whiny little bitch in there too. So maybe, I don't know, like maybe he's what he's destined to be. Maybe he got typecast.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think it has to do a lot with like just like how they. For me, it was like the big change. Like I just didn't like the way it looked. You know what I mean? That's just something very preference wise.
Yeah.
I mean, he did whine a lot, and I guess that did ruin the movie. But like you said, like the plot just felt weird.
It was the romance just doesn't make any sense to me.
It was a dialogue. There we go. That's what it was.
Well, of course, yeah. The dialogue sucks in all of them. And all the prequels, it's so stale.
It was more
stilted.
cringeworthy there.
Yeah, it was like the
same thing in Revenge of the Sith.
Yes, very much so. But I just don't believe their romance. Like I think, and that's such a big part of why he turns, and it's so important to the story. And it's just, I don't understand how like she falls for him. You know what I mean? It's not. I guess of course people fall for each other. In
movies they fall for each other for no reason.
No, I mean in real life.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, like in real life you just fall for. But it's just like this whiny little bitch, and the age difference too, because I think he's like 15 and she's like 22. She's
because when they first met, she was
15.
Yeah,
and he was like 9. So let's say she's like, I guess not that it matters, but it just it just feels wrong. Like she's way more mature than him. Period. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he's just like a little boy. Even though he is like he's older, but still, it didn't make any sense to me. The dialogue felt stilted as far as plot goes with the romance.
There was a lot of like just not awkward silences. It's just like it was. Where's the dialogue? Really
There's
going?
no chemistry between them. You didn't feel.
Well, not even
fire.
Just between them, just between like just
anybody.
There were very few parts where I felt like there was a lot of emotion put into it, and I think a lot of people blame that to the super use of green screen and CGI.
And that's true because you know what, like I said, Hayden Christensen is not a bad actor. Natalie Portman certainly is a great actress. She's had a lot of great movies. Ewan McGregor,
thank you. Yeah,
he's awesome too. He's one of my favorite movies of all time. Trainspotting, like he's really good in everything he does, but they're really bad in this movie, and it's. I think
they have emotion in other movies.
Yeah, and it is, to me, it's the green screen because they have no range of motion. They can't show their emotion with their body and move around because...
Which is crazy because just something like Lord of the Rings where they also use a lot of green screen.
Yeah.
But you look at the like behind the scenes and it's just like they're having so much fun.
Yeah.
And and even if they're doing like a very emotional scene, like the scene, like the behind the scenes, they're just messing around or doing something, and then they get into it and they're just maybe it's just a different class of directing.
That's that too. I mean, I think George Lucas was he wasn't inspired, so that was a big deal. But even in Lord of the Rings, like I'm watching them behind the scenes, they would have a lot of green screen, but they kind of had something on the set too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And Star Wars, a lot of it was just green screen. I just think it was hard for them to act. Period. I get that. So I don't blame them as an actor so much. Plus the script, like fuck, it's terrible. But like, the main crust of it for me is he's a whiny little bitch, and that annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah, see that. I mean, I guess that didn't bother me too much. I did like you're saying it, and I do agree with it.
Yeah,
but that's not really what took me out of the movie.
Well, and the romance though. Mm-hmm. Just before we move on, to me,
because they could have done that very well.
Yeah, they could have, but see, it didn't make sense in the plot because the beginning of the movie, they assassinate her body double, thinking it was her. So somebody's trying to kill her. So they send Anakin for some reason, like clearly, like they can't notice that he's like wants to bone her, like.
But also, yeah, that is like.
You know, like they like did the force. The force wasn't working. Like
yeah, like Dark Sidious just like clouded their judgment. You know?
Like, didn't Obi-Wan just sit back and just like, I probably shouldn't send him with her because he's a young teen, hormones are raging, and she's the hottest woman in the galaxy. Like, and she wears the most in the movie. Like, she has like these cut off dresses. Like, she looks so amazing, and. They didn't. What happened to the Force? Like the Force just fell apart right there. Like they couldn't tell.
They couldn't stop.
And like and then she's gonna be assassinated. Like so they're trying to assassinate her. So their magical plan is to take her back to her home planet, where I guess no bounty hunter or whatever or no assassin wouldn't. Like
they probably.
Yeah. Well, why would they look at her at her home planet? Isn't that the fucking first place you go? And then they're walking around in broad daylight. They're going on canoe rides. Like, can the assassin just be like
no, man. It's too awkward for them to be there. Like, they pass by, but they're like, oh, I shouldn't be watching this right now.
It doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make the plot doesn't make any sense. They could have killed her. Like so many times in the movie.
Yeah, but we could say that about any movie. There's parts like why it doesn't make sense.
I know, but this one is just there's so many plot holes in this movie. It's ridiculous. Like okay, the first time they try to assassinate her, they drop that worm in her room through the window. A robot drops a worm through her room.
Right.
Anakin comes. He feels the Force tells him, and he goes. Spidey sense goes off. He slices the worm. Now. I'm like, why didn't the robot just have a gun on it? Why didn't the robot just shoot a laser at her? Why it's there?
It was able to get through the.
It was able to get through the window. It wasn't a laser proof window.
Yeah.
Like it was, And then they chase after the robot, and the Force is really strong at that time because they can follow the assassin. They somehow find the assassin when there's like 10,000 cars, whatever. They go through all this shit, and then was it Jango Fett? They catch the assassin, then Jango Fett kills the assassin so that the assassin won't tell them. Why didn't he just kill them? Like he shot the dart.
That always happens.
They didn't react and stop the dart. Like the dart killed the assassin lady. Like why didn't he just kill both of them right there? Like their Force sucked at that time. And that's just. I'm telling you, like every scene has this same plot hole. Like there's a plot hole in every scene. It's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like it doesn't make. George Lucas, how much ecstasy did you take before you wrote this script? Because you're all over the.
He rewrote that one many times, right? Was it? I forgot.
I think he literally first draft like in pencil.
It might have been
like
for the other ones, but yeah.
He just submitted it in pencil first draft. I don't think he had an editor or anything. It was just anybody could have seen every plot hole. Whatever. We spent so much time on Attack of the Clones. All right, Revenge of the Sith. What didn't you like about that one? Or what did you like? I guess. Well, why was it better?
I guess that's what I'm thinking. Like for me, it's like those two are almost just as bad as each other.
Yeah.
But obviously, I think like I hate to be like just like the Hollywood effects, but like that one just had like the choreography was amazing for a lot of the stuff. Sometimes that just edges it out, especially when they're both equally bad.
Yeah, I just to say good stuff. Attack of the Clones to me has one of my favorite scenes. At least, would say is in the stadium when it's like the gladiator scene,
right?
And like all the Jedi comes, like that's a cool moment. That's a really nice moment. The fight with Count Dooku is actually okay. It's not terrible, especially when Yoda comes in.
Yeah.
Although it was weird seeing Yoda like jump all over the place, but it was cool. Like I mean, it was when I saw it, I was pumped the fuck up. Now in Revenge, you have the Yoda fight with Darth Sidious, which is cool, and then the Obi-Wan and Anakin is good, but it's I
honestly didn't like it that much, but
it's way too long. It was too long. It was too long.
If it could have ended like sooner, it would have been better. Like if they could have like cut some of the stuff out, it would have been better. But like it was like it was too long
and too many. Like the effects are cool, but like why are they fighting over a volcano. You know, like it doesn't. It's just beyond belief. Like it doesn't.
And that's like if it didn't go as long, you wouldn't have minded if they were fighting on top of. They could have been fighting over anything. Yeah. But it dragged on so long that it's just like
because out of all the prequel movies, like that's the one fight that has real emotion behind it. Yeah. You know, because like all the other, even though I love Darth Maul, which we'll get to, like. There's no big tension there, as in like in the original trilogy when like Luke fights Vader. There's real like anger, emotion, all this stuff in it, and it drags you into the. Even though the choreography is simple, like
very like extremely. You have a guy in a robot suit, and then an older Obi-Wan. Like,
and it's still it was just thrilling.
Yeah, it was.
All right. Anyways, but yeah, so that's the one fight, Anakin versus Obi-Wan. But like, you agree with me, and I agree. It goes on too long. It was cool. I love the ending though. I love when he's like,
You were supposed to
be the chosen one. I mean, like, it's a corny thing, but I really love the way he's like, I hate you. Yeah. That's the one moment in the whole prequel trilogy where I got chills because you really felt it. Like, he actually acted that out, Mm-hmm. But the infamous, no, that's terrible. That's one of the worst moments in cinematic history. Like,
they should have just kept it like just him breathing. Yeah. And it getting like harder, you know what I mean? Like, or faster. Yeah. Just because he's like, he doesn't like, everything he wanted. Yeah. He got to this point because he wanted to, protect everyone he cared about pretty much, which basically was just,
Padme? Amidala? Amidala?
Yeah. That's the main reason, you know? And he completely fucked up.
Yeah. And
like him becoming Darth Vader was him fucking up.
Yeah. That's you just lost everything that you fought for.
Which is kind of like why like the I guess overall I didn't like the second two because it's just like, dude, you're just fucking everything up. Yeah. Like, granted, we already know we're looking in. We're not in there. Yeah. We're outside looking in, so it's obviously different. Like it might have been just hard to portray that. Yeah. But it was just like they're making so many mistakes and we could see it so obviously. It's just like, oh my god, you know?
I think that's one of the reasons I put that one lower than Phantom Menace was because the suspension of disbelief. Like it's mind-boggling the stuff that goes on in part 3 that doesn't make any sense either. Like Order 66. How does that work? Like, how did he program all the clones to know this and they kill all the Jedis? You know what I mean? Like, and his actual turn to the dark side, it just never felt.
It was too abrupt.
Yeah, like it just never. I don't know. I always felt like he was gonna be some sort of mind control or. I mean,
I was like just something that like seems reasonable.
Yeah.
I didn't see any like. It was just like, oh, you want more power. It's like, I never saw Anakin as someone that, like, they didn't make him out to be like this power hungry as far as I could tell.
Well, I mean, they did because they did because he said it, but like he
said it, but that was just like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like something like you didn't feel that.
Yeah, I mean that the only moment I can think where you really do see that anger is when his mom dies.
Oh yeah.
And like he kills the whole village, and then he's talking to Padme, and he's like, "I will be the most powerful Jedi to ever live."
That is true.
So like you do see it there,
but it just seems overshadowed by the rest of like him not having any of that.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it just never his turning. He just seems so stupid, like. You know what I mean? That's what I hated about the prequel trilogy because everybody loved I love Darth Vader, and then like as Anakin, he was just dumb. Like
everyone was dumb.
Everybody was dumb.
I love Ewan McGregor and I love Obi-Wan in the original trilogy. I like them in the new trilogy too. Yeah. It was just like everyone was just like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, like how can you not see? I know, like you said, even for us, obviously we're outside looking in, so it's easy to see. But at the same time, you're like.
Wasn't there a part I forgot where like Emperor Palpatine like was like all deformed and no one noticed that he was deformed?
No, they noticed. They noticed.
Oh, they did. Okay.
It was after Mace Windu. After they killed Mace Windu and Mace Windu defigured him.
Yeah, he reflected.
And then like that's when he got complete control over the Republic, and everybody cheered and like. But it's like, if I'm like, okay, you don't see this guy like. I know he just got fucked up, but if it were me, I'd be like, he looks like a bad guy. Like, I think he's a bad guy, guys. Like, you guys don't see like with the creepy voice, like with the power of the dark side. Yeah, dude. Like everybody was dumb. Like he's telling Anakin, I once knew a Sith or this and that, a master who could bring people back from the dead. Like, isn't that like warning, this guy is probably the Sith master that we've been looking for.
If they would have because it didn't. Anakin didn't seem naive to me. He was naive, but he didn't seem like especially from when he was a kid,
Yeah, as a kid, he seemed like he could pick up on these things, and then of course, as part of that's the thing. He's not dumb from the original trilogy. He's not dumb from Phantom Menace. He's not dumb, but then because the plot doesn't make any sense, they have to make him dumb just to fit into the plot. And that's what's frustrating, because as a viewer, you're like, "What? That doesn't make any sense. Like, how did he not pick that up? How did he not figure it out earlier? That Darth Sidious was just trying to use him. He didn't even at the brink, at that moment when Mace Windu. Like, he has to make the choice. Like, I know he loved Padme, but you know what I mean? Like, come on. Like,
you know what? Like that, I was just right now, just like kind of like that thing where like, where the plot is just like, why is it happening? That 5-minute trailer for Knights of the Fallen Empire had like, it had everything.
Yeah.
Like, it had the two kids. You obviously both of them kind of competing against each other. But one of them was just more naturally talented.
Yeah.
The other one,
or more naturally vicious, or the one that died was the more naturally talented.
Yeah. And the whole time you see no words. You see the one in white just like has it seems like his dad has a disdain for him.
Yeah.
Because he's lesser than his brother.
Yeah.
But then at the end, like, he chooses. Like, he accepts him. It's just like, dude, that was insane.
Like, that has more story, more depth, more emotion than the entire the one trailer for Knights of the Fallen Empire for the Old Republic. Like, yeah, I completely agree.
And that's kind of like that turning thing. Like, his father is basically part of the. I guess I don't know if the Old Republic follows Jedis and Sith. I'm assuming they do.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. I haven't played the game.
Yeah.
And it seems like his father was like basically like the Sith the whole time, trying to like.
Yeah, like the low key Sith.
Like
in
the
hiding.
Darth Sidious. And then, and then you have these two brothers. It just, and then the way oh my god, that was so good.
Anyway, it was so good.
Yeah, but I was just saying, like, comparison, like, they in that 5 minutes is better than how Anakin turned.
Yeah, exactly.
And the whole Darth Sidious thing.
Yeah.
Granted, maybe the actual game story is not as good, but that 5-minute trailer was amazing.
No, yeah, I get you. So number 6, Attack of the Clones for both of us. Revenge of the Sith, number 5. Number 4 is, for me, Phantom Menace, and for you, Phantom Menace.
I liked him as a kid. Anakin as a kid.
He was alright.
Like,
whatever.
It wasn't, like, I don't know. I just, obviously, I preferred him to...
See, okay, here's my thing is, like, Phantom Menace gets such a bad rap now because, it wasn't a great movie. I'll tell you that. But I think it has more standout moments than the other two. For me, Darth Maul is and always will be the best villain
he's a Sith Lord, right? I mean, he's Darth.
Yeah. Like, I like him more than Darth Vader, Darth Sidious. Then, like, in the movie franchise, he's absolutely the badass character. He was a fucking beast.
Darth Maul.
Yeah,
like, just Maul. That's like
the
who
name.
comes up with that? Like,
the look, the double, dude. I can't because at that time I was probably 12. When the trailer came out the first time. It came out
separately too, right?
Yeah, because you're watching the trailer and then the doors open and then he has his hood and then it's like,
and then,
oh my god, it was such a great moment. So that last fight between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Darth Maul is really good. It doesn't have that same soul, like I said, but it's just so good because he's such a good villain, you know. And the pod race, of course, is awesome.
That's the two parts that, like I said, there's two things that I think why we choose those two.
Yeah, because that pod race is amazing. It's a technical feat at that time, and even if you watch it now, it's an amazing thing they did. Like, it's just an adrenaline rush. You know, I could just watch that. I would pay money just to watch that in theater. The problem with Phantom Menace was it. I don't know. It just it was too slow. I think there was too much. It was bloated. It could have been cut maybe by like 20-30 minutes, and it would have been a much better movie. But overall, like, I don't think it's a terrible movie. It's not a great movie, but I think it's better than the other two. I think it has more standout moments than the other two. You know, I know a lot of people love Revenge of the Sith out of the prequel trilogy. They think that's the best one. All the power to you, but to me, yeah, like, Darth Maul makes the movie. He's awesome, and the pod race just is the cherry on top.
I just liked seeing, even though overall, like, Obi-Wan in the new trilogy wasn't that amazing. Yeah, it was just cool seeing them, like, as they're, like, growing up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a nice thing too, to see the character younger. You're like, oh yeah, that was a cool moment too. And when you're growing up, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, because obviously when you see Anakin, you don't really picture Vader, even though you know.
I absolutely do not. I agree with you. Yeah, I do not picture. They're not the same person to me.
Like, but Obi-Wan, it was him.
Yeah. And of course, the worst thing about Phantom Menace is Jar Jar. Like,
oh god,
Jar Jar Binks is terrible. The depths of how bad Jar Jar ruined. Like, if you take Jar Jar out the movie, I think you have a good movie. I think you have a good movie.
Yeah.
He's just a terrible character. He wasn't funny at all. It was obviously for kids, which is fine, but he was just a worthless character who did nothing. Like, he did nothing for the story.
He's gonna be Kylo Ren. No, we already know who Kylo Ren is. I can just imagine someone like makes like a video where like Kylo Ren's mask, and then
no, that'd be the worst moment. I just walk out of the theater.
Yeah, like, it's not gonna happen in the movie, but like
I literally.
What if like someone makes like a parody where like they just like kind of recreate like a lot of the trailers, and just like everyone is revealed as like the new bounty hunter looking person is Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, you're right. I can see somebody doing a parody like that. But I'm saying, like, if it were really to happen, no. Just walk out the theater.
Yeah, I remember there's like theories, or just like people were just like being like, you know, trolls, but like theories that the main person, the bad guy, is gonna be Jar Jar.
Yeah.
And, like, I was just like, oh god.
But yeah,
hopefully they just never speak of him again.
Yeah. No, he died. No, I hope he was murdered. Like, honestly.
Whoa.
Like,
can he just go back to his family and never come visit us? Okay.
No, I think he mutilated, chop off the ears, throw him in different parts of the bridge or something. Yeah, no, he's done. All right. So now our number 3, 2, and 1. Obviously, original trilogy. We're biased. We're biased for the original trilogy. Some people like the prequels more. Not many, but
a lot of obviously kids. I mean,
yeah.
If I was like maybe like 5 years younger,
I agree. Yeah. Like, if I would have grew up on that, then I can see, like, you know, this is what you experienced first. So,
because I mean, technically, Star Wars, the original trilogy, was before my time.
It was, but I mean, like, we grew up on it. We grew up with it. That's the thing.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, a couple years, and then I would have been growing up. With the new trilogy. Because
I was born 2 years after Return of the Jedi came out. Like, like it was before my time. But I grew up with the VHS. So anyways, number 3, we'll say all 3 of them, and then we'll talk about it. So number 3 for me and you is A New Hope, which is episode 4. Number 2 is Return of the Jedi, which is episode 6. And the number 1 for everybody should be if you don't agree, get out of our podcast right now. No. Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, one of the best movies ever made. Not just Star Wars, but just one of the top 10 movies ever.
Definitely one of the top Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
and it's definitely like up there for me.
It's it's a cinematic masterpiece in my eyes. Like it's so good.
Yeah.
So I put
3 was number 4.
Episode 4
or episode 4. Yes, thank you.
So it's the one that started it all. It's a great movie. I think that Empire is better because it expands the universe, and you see that a lot with these sci-fi movies. Where the first one, like, you don't
introduces the characters really.
Yeah, it introduces the characters for the whole series, and that's good. But it's a lot slower than the other two for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it has to set everything up.
Yeah,
it has to be. It can't just jump into like. It can't do anything. Especially, I mean, I don't know. Was he planning on having a trilogy when he first made it?
Well, when he first wrote it, he had the whole story, but he decided the story. So Lucas decided the story was too long.
Okay.
So he cut it up into pieces.
Okay.
So like he had it in mind. Obviously, he probably changed things as he went.
It's just like playing an RPG. Like you have to get past like getting everything set up.
Yeah.
And then once you reach a certain point, you can start unleashing, like breaking everything, kind of. You know what I mean?
And of course, like that's not that we're not saying that it's not a good movie. It's a great movie too, but. It definitely does set things up more, and it's not that it needs to be action packed, but to me the universe is way.
We ranked if it was due on action packed, the original the new trilogy would have more weight, but they don't, even though they're very action packed.
Yeah, and it doesn't do anything for you.
I think for me it was just like seeing because I don't know if I actually don't remember if I saw the first one first. Or episode 4 first. Yeah. I don't remember which one I saw first because I saw them very young. Yeah. And then again later on. But just something about just seeing how the ship, the Millennium Falcon for the first time. I forgot which one that one was in.
No, it's in A New Hope. Yeah.
Yeah. So something about that I loved.
Yeah. No, it's
and the crew.
It's funny. I always loved about the Millennium Falcon because everybody always like, what this piece of junk? Like everybody's always like, this is the piece of junk you fly? But like because for us it's like a ship, you're like, man, that looks amazing. Like what are you talking about? That looks great.
Yeah, but they have ships. So
for them it looks terrible, but like for us, like, oh man, that's a sick ass ship. One of
the top ships of all time.
Yeah, or the top ship. The best thing to me about New Hope is that it has a lot of slower moments that hit you in a powerful way. Like after his after Luke's aunt and uncle are killed, he's just standing there and like he has this just moment where he realizes that there's nothing here for him anymore, and the music kicks in, and it's a beautiful moment. And also earlier when
is very different from Anakin because they kind of just take him away.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what? You're the chosen one. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. You say bye to your mom and then that's it.
Yeah, exactly. This one is more like...
you have a lot of midi-chlorians, so you must be the chosen one.
Yeah, while Luke is more like... kind of like the underdog kind of thing.
Yeah,
which everyone loves.
Yeah, that's true. It's more like... Yeah, exactly. It is like an RPG. It's kind of like you start off the little nobody.
Who are you?
Yeah, and then you're the savior of the galaxy. So it has that underdog element to it, and like it has those nice moments. Like the other moment that always comes to mind is when he wants to leave and fight for the rebellion, but his uncle tells him like, "I need you here. I need your help. Like stay for one more year, and then you can go." And he's just torn between like he just feels like he's going nowhere. And he's standing outside and you see like the two suns, and he's just kind of like wistfully looking at the two suns, and it's just a nice moment. And that's New Hope has those moments, whereas the other ones don't really have that as much. Mm-hmm. But like I said, you're getting to know the character, you're getting to love the character, and that's the strength to me with the New Hope that it has. And of course it has the climactic ending is just like there's nothing like him going down the trench, and like you hear Obi-Wan is just like you know, use the Force, like your targeting computer is off, and he's like,
I got this.
Don't worry, like I got this. All right. Yeah, so New Hope is amazing, but not as good as Return of the Jedi. So Return of the Jedi is the end of that trilogy. Mm-hmm. action packed, great
what
moments.
Was it? One of the greatest reveals in cinema.
No, that's Empire.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
it's
right.
Empire.
Sorry.
Yeah,
no, I think it's the numbers are like confusing me.
Yeah,
we're going in order.
Yeah. So yeah. So episode 6, you have it wraps everything up, which is why it's so good. It wraps up the whole story between Luke and Vader and their relationship, and Han and Leia, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, everything wraps up. It's a beautiful
Han, Leia,
way.
And Chewie.
Yeah, Chewie. The Ewoks. Some people don't like the Ewoks. I think the Ewoks are awesome.
The only thing I can remember, it's sad because I just remember playing. What is it? Playing on the dark side of Force Unleashed, where you're just punting them. I'm just like, oh, that's so. Why would you ever do that?
Yeah, like, no, yeah, don't ever play the Force Unleashed 2 DLC
because you just.
Because you can't. Yeah.
It was like it's the game tells you to do it. I'm just like, why? They have guns. Yeah. They have
like, no.
They're warriors. You can't just do that to
them. Yeah. So Return of the Jedi is just a little bit better than the New Hope. I think part of it has great action, like the final space battle.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing New Hope didn't have, because like what we were saying, it has to like set everything up.
Yeah,
it can't, like I said, it can't just start having all this destruction of
this big action,
like, bringing down the bad guy.
Yeah,
because you have to have the bad guy do something to need to be shut down.
Yeah. Now, granted, they attacked the Death Star in New Hope, fine. Mm-hmm. You know, but earlier, like, the big space battle is like they're being chased by like 4 TIE fighters or something like that, and Han and Luke are both like shooting they're shooting, and like it just shows you the different scale. Whereas like in the middle of the movie of New Hope, that's like the big scene, and
because they had to have action.
Yeah, but it's only against 4 TIE fighters. You know what I mean? Whereas the scale in Return of the Jedi is always bigger. It's always like a grand epic war. And it's just, of course, New Hope sets it up to be even better that way. So, but great, amazing movie. Just it's like it's almost perfect. But Empire Strikes Back, to me, is slightly better just because, man, like the moment the fight between Luke and Darth Vader.
Dude, I love playing that game on Chuck E. Cheese where you get to do that.
Yeah. That one, it has a lot of different ones that are good that are arcade. I don't know if you ever tried it, but the fight between Luke and Darth is so much better in Empire than it is in Return, even though it is great in Return as well. But in Empire, it has that thing about, like, you don't know how good Luke is, you know, and it's clear that Darth is just kind of toying with him. He's just trying to, you know, he could have probably killed him whenever.
No, he could have killed him at any moment.
Yeah, he could have killed him at any moment. But Luke also shows that he's building, like, he
impresses him.
Yeah. There's, you know, because he's like, oh, impressive. He even says that he's like impressive because he jumps up like 20 feet. And of course, the biggest reveal, you know, I know I am your father, and like everybody like jaw drop.
You killed my father.
Yeah.
No.
I am your father.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest moments. I just can't do it. It's so good. And then
I think that's one of the big reasons why it beats out
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I honestly think that's like one of the main choices I chose for that one being higher.
Yeah,
because they're both great.
Yeah, and it's the quintessential, like, the part 2 of a trilogy, like, because there's closure within the movie itself because he actually does face Darth Vader, but of course they have to leave it. It's a cliffhanger. They have to leave it that there's a third one. But at the same time, you feel like satisfied because he actually did confront Darth Vader. You know what I mean?
And it just didn't turn out the way he or anyone else expected.
And so, like, to me, that's the like, that's, if any trilogy, that's the formula right there. Because something like, you look at something like Halo, where people felt so cheated in part 2 because they feel like it didn't feel like a natural ending. You know what I mean? They felt like it was a real cliffhanger. And this one, there's a cliffhanger just because like it has to be a cliffhanger because there's a part 3, and in the sense that like they have to finish the fight, but at the same time he actually did fight Darth Vader, so there is a conclusion there. You feel complete with it, of course, and then the Hoth scene is legendary. It's iconic.
Again, that game recreates some of the best moments of the whole.
That's one of the best.
Like
Star
I wish they would
games.
Like port it or do something for.
Bless you, by the way.
No, it's fine. They would port it because like those are some of like the coolest moments.
Yeah,
and you gotta like be them.
And it's really well done with the joystick.
Mm-hmm.
Hoth, legendary. Great intro to the movie. I don't know. It builds up the scale so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to the first one, like you immediately
you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, like the rebels.
There's shit going down.
Yeah, the rebels have a big base. They're trying to hide out, and you see the power of the Imperial Army. Like it's.
They're like, all right, we're done messing with you guys. Let's go. And mess everything up. And
the number one thing to me about Empire that puts it over all the other ones, aside from what we already said, is Yoda. Because it's the most unexpected. Because you feel exactly like Luke when he goes to search for Yoda. You don't know what Yoda looks like. If you never. Obviously, everybody knows now. But when you're watching it at the first time, you're like, you're expecting to see some great warrior who's huge,
or maybe just an old man with like a beard. So I don't know, something.
Yeah, and then you're surprised to find out who he is. But Yoda is what people love about the Force, like when he explains it to him, like you feel your surroundings and all this, all that, the complete opposite of the midi-chlorians that is so like scientific and just like, oh, there's 10,000 midi-chlorians, this guy is amazing. Whereas with Yoda, it's not about that, it's about a spiritual
I mean,
it's not science, it's like it really is to them kind of like faith and in just belief, what I mean? And he's just like and he tells him like when he brings out his X-wing from the water, and he's like, I can't believe it, I can't believe you just did that. And he's like, that's why you'll fail, because you don't believe it, you know what I mean? And he's the spiritual core of Star Wars to me. Yoda's the philosopher that brings it into something more than just science fiction, but into like a way of thinking, and you know what I mean? Like there's something
just like the original trilogy, like that's what the original trilogy tried doing.
Yeah, but I think Yoda hammers it home more than Obi-Wan did in the first one, and then Yoda dies in part 3, and it's not the same like in part 2. He's that emotional core to it, and I think that's what brings the whole series over the top. Is his time with Luke really shows you what the Force is all about, what it is, what being a Jedi is all about. And you don't really get that from the prequel trilogy, even though there's a bunch of Jedi, but you don't get the same.
And Yoda's moving around.
Yeah.
Just because you can make him jump doesn't make him
doesn't make him cool. But it was a sick scene.
I'm not gonna deny that.
But, I mean, I remember people clapping in the theater when I saw it the first time. But still, Empire Strikes Back Yoda is the Yoda that everybody will remember and knows and love to me.
Yeah.
Anything more to say?
No.
So our list, I know we talked a lot, but I don't know, we talked about all the movies, but yeah, our list is number 1, Empire Strikes Back, number 2, Return of the Jedi, number 3, A New Hope, number 4, I think almost everybody will agree with us on the first 3. I think the majority of people agree with us on the first 3.
Top 3, yeah.
I think a lot of people wouldn't put Phantom Menace as number 4. I think they would put Phantom Menace maybe the last or second to last.
But that's just so weird to me because that's so opposite of.
Yeah, I just don't see it that way. But I've heard many people say that Revenge of the Sith is their favorite Star Wars. So I'm sure most people
would put the new trilogy.
I've heard kids say that that's their favorite, ever.
Get them out of there. Get them out of here.
Yeah, but yeah, they'll put that. So for us, Phantom Menace number 4, number 5, Revenge of the Sith, and the absolute worst is Attack of the Clones.
Right.
Yeah.
They're both bad. The last 2 are both bad.
They're not good. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Yes. So now we're gonna move on to kind of this one's gonna be kind of hard.
Yeah.
Or maybe not hard. But who was the best Jedi in the movies?
Yeah, in the movies. To me, there's an easy answer, and to me, there's only 3 choices. There's only 3 valid.
Yeah, there's only very.
Yeah, I mean there's plenty of Jedi, right? But there's only 3 valid choices. Yoda, obviously. Obi-Wan. No, I see 4. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry, 4.
You're right.
So Obi-Wan.
I forgot the one that you're choosing.
Well, no, okay. So it's there's only 4 valid choices: Obi-Wan, Yoda, Luke, or Mace Windu. Okay, so to me, the choice is clearly Mace Windu.
Yeah.
Is the best Jedi. I think he's the balance between fighting and wisdom of the Force. I think wisdom of the Force goes to Yoda, obviously.
Yeah.
But just how the fights pan out, that's why I choose it that way. Luke is there's not enough. He didn't get trained enough to me. Like he can't be the best.
Okay.
You don't see that?
No. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely like he's definitely like that character. Like he just has that like he can just do it. Like, he just does it.
He does have that mystique where like if he would have been trained, I think he probably would have been the best.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like I'm trying to think, I can't like there's so many games where it's just like this person shouldn't be the best. There's someone that's obviously better than him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But somehow he can overcome it. No matter what, like he has that
the will.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He might not have the skill, but he has the will to do it. I can see that. I mean, I can see that. I don't think it's Obi-Wan because Count Dooku beat the shit out of him. But then again, they had been in a fight all day, so
yeah.
I don't think it's Yoda because Darth Sidious beat Yoda, or he didn't beat him, but it was a draw at the end. Okay, nobody won.
No one won. Okay.
And Mace Windu beat the shit out of Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
Of course, styles make fights. But I just want to talk about the movies, but I am reaching a little bit into the other stuff here where I forgot what it's called exactly, but I think it's the Attack of the Clones
TV show?
Yeah, like it was not the 3D one, but it was like a 2D one on Cartoon Network that they had.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones.
Okay, because there's a new one. I think it's called the Clone Wars or something like that.
Oh, you're right.
I haven't watched that.
I have no idea then. I can't remember.
Because they had a 3D movie too.
Oh.
Anyways,
I didn't watch many of them. I know Darth Maul's alive in that one.
In the 3D one.
I think so. I forgot which one. But he's alive in the animated Clone Wars or whatever.
Okay, so they did a couple. The first one they did right after the movies came out was like a 2D Cartoon Network one. And there's this one episode where Mace Windu, like, literally, very literally, destroys an entire droid army by himself. Like, it's the best scene in the entire...
Is that when he has to... I might have seen that one. He has to, like, prove himself to this guy to get him on his side?
No, it's...
no, that's a different part.
They're in the middle of a battle.
Because that one he fights a lot, too, but there's other people helping him. I think the clones are helping him.
Yeah, so what happens is... I'm actually going to put the picture up for people to see. I'm going to put the video up as we're talking, which we don't usually do, but you can see it. So they're in the middle of a battle. I forgot what. And it's a whole droid army. And they have this big ship that, like, pounds to the ground and it creates waves of sand. And so that happens. He loses his lightsaber in the middle of, like, a little sandstorm. Just with the Force, like, he destroys the entire droid army. Like, he does things to this droid army that you didn't know the Force could do. Like he literally, like, he does this right here. Like, he puts his hand up, and then, like, there's, like, a whole row of droids, and, like, all the screws come out, and they're just floating. And then he, like, closes his hand, and then they all get crushed, like... It's the best scene in the show. Like,
I've never seen the show.
Yeah, so like that is the best. Like, he destroyed. So obviously that's not in the movies, but I'm just saying he's still young. Like, Yoda's older, which shouldn't matter. But he's. I think he can fight better.
Okay.
I think Yoda's wisdom. He has more wisdom of the Force, but you know, I think Mace Windu is the balance. So I think in the movies, he's the greatest Jedi.
Okay.
You know?
You didn't want to choose Obi-Wan, but I'm choosing Obi-Wan.
Okay.
I was thinking more about along the lines of just, I wasn't thinking like who's the best fighter, who's the like, you know, that seems like kind of like not necessarily what you're going for, but that's the examples you use.
Yeah.
The way I was looking at it more, it's like he, besides Yoda, obviously, kind of like is the most to have learned from his mistakes. Yeah. Because he's made one of the biggest mistakes. Granted, Mace Windu's dead, so he can't really learn. Like he can't really fix his mistakes. Yeah. Obi-Wan, like he was there with, I can't remember who was his master.
Qui-Gon. Yeah.
Qui-Gon. You know, he saw Qui-Gon put all his hope into this kid, and you know he tried to help the kid as well, and ended up fucking up. And he had to redeem himself. Yeah. You know, which is what he did in the original trilogy with Luke. Yeah. Or at least he tried to. He also died, but he figured that would be the best way to kind of like bring back the Force, you know? Yeah. Like, obviously Yoda, I think undoubtedly Yoda's the best, you know? Yeah. That's no question. But
of course.
You almost can't put him into the equation. Yeah. Like, it's really like you said there was 4, but there is actually only 3, which is Luke, Mace. Actually, I guess Qui-Gon, but he was only like in one movie, so he can't really say much. Yeah. But he's one of the 5 that we actually kind of know. Yeah. Every other Jedi, at least in the movie, we kind of just like.
Yeah, you just see him, and I get you.
And definitely, like I said, I was going based off just the movie, so you know we don't see Mace.
Yeah, we don't see Mace do that. Okay, it's true.
I definitely go with Obi-Wan just because, you know, he's hopefully much wiser. He made the big. He didn't really help make Darth Vader. Yeah. But he and bring the fall of or bring back the Sith kind of.
But he did.
But he didn't stop it. He was naive to what was happening.
Just with that conversation, I blame Yoda. That's Yoda's fault. True. Because they said in the middle.
But I think he's like one of those people. He doesn't want to have to he almost rather everything fall apart than have to tell you straightforward, don't do this. You know what I mean?
Oh, Yoda? Yeah. Like, he wants you to make your own decision. Mm-hmm. He's like God. Like, he gives you free will. Like,
He's just like...
I'll teach you everything you need to know, but you got to decide. I guess
he doesn't want to, impose his will on people, because I'm sure he can.
Yeah, he messed up, though, because... in The Phantom Menace, you see, it's a plot hole. It doesn't make any sense. Yoda's the wisest there is. And they clearly said that they didn't think that Anakin should be trained. He had too much.
That's right.
He had too much anger in him. He had, you know what I mean? He had too much anger in him that it was going to turn on him.
Mm-hmm. But that's also Obi-Wan's fault, because he kind of wanted to do it because of his master wanting to do it.
I get that, and I know Obi-Wan said it's I'm gonna do this whether you guys tell me or not. And at that point, like you said, he didn't want to impose his will, but Yoda is gonna be no, you're not gonna do it. You know what I mean? This might bring the end of the everything. And so
it would bring back the Sith, or bring them back into prominence.
Yeah. So I mean, but not that he could have foreseen everything, but. He clearly had his doubts, and so did the council, and they still allowed Anakin to be trained. So they messed up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And I just felt that. I mean, granted, they all had something to lose, but Obi-Wan was the one that put his full faith, because not necessarily because he believed in him, but because he believed in Qui-Gon.
Yeah, which is true. By the way, side note about why the writing sucks to me. In New Hope, they have a bunch of emotional moments, beautiful moments. When Qui-Gon dies, the only thing he tells Obi-Wan, he only tells him, train the boy. He's the chosen one. Fine. It's his last words in this. But, when I was in the theaters, I was I thought he was going to tell Obi-Wan is just, you've always been like a son to me or something. You know what I mean? They're not allowed to show any emotion. If they would have done that, it would have been such a great scene, just because he would have been I believe in you.
You just got beat up by the most badass Darth ever. And then, he would have had this moment with...
Yeah. And we hate the Darth Maul death, by the way. It doesn't make... That's another plot. It doesn't make any sense. He's standing over him. Just, throw a little bit of force at his hands. He'll fall like he's dead. What are you doing?
Would you think it would have been cool if he was like there for the rest of them?
I think it would have been amazing.
Like he just walks away from Obi-Wan, or just walks away. He's like, you're not even worth it. Like,
I think if Anakin were to fight Darth Maul, that would have been amazing. Oh. And by him killing Darth Maul, so the same way that now Anakin kills Count Dooku, but Count Dooku's a terrible character.
He's a coward, isn't he? But
I know he's not a coward. He's just not a good character.
Okay.
Like, I just didn't like Count Dooku, but in Return of the...
I don't know why I thought he was like, he had like some kind of like, he was just cowardly.
No.
I don't know if that was, maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
I mean, he ran away from the fight, but I mean, it was just like, it wasn't like a coward thing necessarily. But anyways, like in Return of the Jedi, Darth Sidious wants Luke to kill Darth and take his place, by his side, by my side. So it would have made sense to me if Darth Maul would have been alive in Part 3, and if Anakin would have then killed Darth Maul. I mean, like, he's using all his anger. He killed Qui-Gon. He cared for Qui-Gon too. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been such a bigger emotional climax. That
like it could have been him and Obi-Wan fighting again. Yeah, and he would see kind of like, maybe he wouldn't see, but it would kind of be like reliving the fight.
Yeah,
where Qui-Gon died, and then like Anakin would like step up.
Yeah. It could have been good. Whatever. It is what it is.
But I wouldn't want them to kill Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Anyways. He would have to survive somehow again.
But, like, no way. Can we just change the whole, the whole Star Wars thing just for Darth Maul? Like, no, but yeah, Obi-Wan's a good choice. I think in that way, I agree with you. Like, he's like the quintessential Jedi. He kind of like...
He's in all of them.
Yeah. No, he's. I mean, well, he's. I guess he is kind of an Empire.
Well, everyone's by the Force. Everyone's in all the movies.
Yeah, as a ghost, he's in there or whatever.
But like, he actually has like kind of like some effect, I guess. Not all of them, but at least throughout the whole franchise.
Yeah, no, he does. Like he still talks to Luke, but I mean, I agree with the sense that he's kind of the one that kind of, I don't know. Like when I think of a Jedi, I do think of Obi-Wan. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Like when you ask me who's the best Jedi, I'm like. Immediately,
like Obi-Wan.
Like Yoda passed my mind too, but it was just like, oh, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I just think of Obi-Wan because he I don't know, he is a tragic character because he loses his master.
He loses his apprentice.
He loses his apprentice, and like he's always trying to do the right thing. He never strays from it. And he never can. He can never do the right thing. You know. But yeah, I could go with that. But still, as far as like skills, Mace Windu will fuck everybody up. Like he destroy everybody. Sorry, pardon my French. My cousin.
Yes.
All right. So.
So best movie Jedi. Obviously, we have different choices.
Yeah.
We're both, I guess, biased. I wonder who people would choose.
People
who the people are gonna choose,
They know I'm right. Mace Windu. Probably. Mace Windu.
But okay. But now this is a kind of like, this is still Star Wars, somewhat related, but not really talking about Star Wars.
Yeah.
We want to rank Star Wars
as far as a franchise. So where does the Star Wars franchise rank amongst the greatest franchises?
What does a franchise? Like, what exactly is a franchise to you?
What is a franchise?
Because a franchise could be a movie with just more than one part. Toy Story has like what, 3? It's coming out with a 4th.
I think they're coming out with a 4th.
But it's not. It doesn't. I mean,
it doesn't feel like a franchise.
It is a franchise. I mean, it is, but
yeah.
And they're great movies. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
I get you. I know what you mean. Like, it doesn't necessarily feel, but I think it falls under the franchise category still. So to me, I would rank Star Wars as a franchise probably like number 5
for you
of all time.
Okay.
Now, and the reason that it gets lower, honestly, the prequels dragged it down for me. Like, they're that bad. Like they're that bad. It could be number 1. And of course, when we're ranking greatest of all time, what are we saying? Like movie quality,
staying power,
like like there's a lot of different factors to. Obviously, money, you can't really say money because it doesn't. You could say obviously they have to have made a good amount of money to be considered, but if you're saying like the most highest grossing, that's a whole different.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, we have the list here by franchise. The one that has the most money, the box office wise at least, is Marvel. But they also have like 21 movies.
Yeah.
You know, if you go by movie, Star Wars has the most money.
Yeah, and then or the other one was you said like James Bond.
Yeah, James Bond.
Like they have like 25 movies.
Yeah, they have. Or some, yeah.
You know, and like that doesn't feel necessarily like a franchise. It just feels like different movies in the same, you know, setting.
Yeah, it's
or
weird.
whatever.
It's such a weird way.
Yeah. So to me, like I would rank just like it's not one of those things that I'm thinking greatly about, but Indiana Jones is up there. Mm-hmm. Even though Part 4 wasn't great, like Part 1, 2, and 3 are all three of them are all time greats. Marvel is up there. If we consider it a franchise, then it's up there.
I guess I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely for me, my list is a little bit different because I'm sure your list includes things like, while I love these movies as well,
yeah,
your list is going to include like Back to the Future.
Of course, it's
Indiana Jones,
Rocky.
Yeah. See, that one probably wouldn't make the top 10 of mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like Harry Potter is definitely one of the top for me.
It's really good. I would put it in my top 10. I don't know about top 5 because some of them they're all good, but they're at like 5 or 6 is kind of like a little too slow. Like I feel like they stretched it.
The Lord of the Rings, including The Hobbit.
Top 5. Yeah, like it's good. Yeah,
there.
Top 5 is up there.
I very much like the Pirates of the Caribbean. I would consider that a franchise.
That's top 20 for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Part 1 is all time great for me, and the other two are like.
I think Part 1. Yeah, the Part 1 was so good.
Yeah.
But I mean, these are obviously movies I watch more than like I love Back to the Future. I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I watch these movies more because they're more. I didn't watch I haven't. It's been like maybe a couple years now since I've watched the original trilogy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I've watched these movies because they're always on.
Yeah.
That's the thing that sucks too. I've never seen Star Wars on TV. Which I guess it's a bad thing, but like I don't have a VCR anymore, and I don't own I should probably buy the.
Yeah, Blu-rays. I still own the VHS.
I have the. I think it was
for the original.
I don't think I have New Hope. I have. I think. I think it was Return. I have one of them. I don't have.
Yeah.
It might have been Empire. I have one of the VHS. I didn't have all of them, but yeah. But I don't know. I haven't been like compelled to go buy them.
Yeah.
I might buy them and watch them now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I recently bought Harry Potter, all 7 movies, and recently watched them all.
Yeah. They're really good. I mean, it's a great franchise, and they planned it out so well. It's up there for me.
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying. Like, I love Star Wars and everything, but I don't know. It doesn't rank extremely high on my ranking of all time.
So okay, so I'm gonna set some criteria down just for myself. To me, to be on the top, it the movies have to be really rewatchable, where I can just like watch it. If it's on, I'll watch it. And that's why to me, Back to the Future, all 3, like I can watch, if they were giving it right now, I'd watch it right now on TV. Like all 3 of them, even the third one, which I used to think was like whatever, I can just like it's really fun to watch. Indiana Jones, the 4th one sucked, but the first 3 are infinitely rewatchable. And the same thing with Rocky, even though Part 3 and 4 are kind of like caricatures of a real movie, like they're just cartoon boxing at that point, but they're still fun to watch. Like I can still get sucked in or watching Rocky fight Mr. T and Ivan Drago and Clubber Lang, you know?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's really hard because like,
and that's what brings Star Wars down. I can't rewatch Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith. Even Phantom Menace.
I can't watch it too much.
Yeah, but I've watched Empire Strikes Back like 100 times.
Yeah, see, I definitely need to get them to just watch them again.
Yeah.
But movies I'm thinking of, like I'm not even considering Marvel yet, just because like there's still movies coming out.
Yeah.
So I mean, granted, I have the box set.
Yeah.
I'm planning on buying the second box set for Phase 2. You know what I mean? But like for me, like movies like Harry Potter are up there. Jurassic Park, I love.
Yeah, see, same thing.
See, I didn't like Part 2 that much.
See, and that
but I think actually I did like it just because of the Raptors.
Yeah, it was all right. Like it was okay. But
like I could rewatch it. I don't know about you. The third one, was that the one with like the kid?
Yeah, the kid who gets stuck on the island and then like he somehow survives like 2 weeks in a dinosaur infested.
Yeah.
somehow he like survives.
Jurassic World was good. I like that one. But I could rewatch. I could probably rewatch all of those, even if I didn't like the third one that much. I like the first two and Jurassic World, but I didn't really like the third one.
See, I would put it up there. Like part one is almost good enough to just bring it up all the way to the top 10 for me, but.
Oh, it doesn't do enough.
It doesn't do enough. Like I think Jurassic World was good, but I think it's overrated. Like like people were like it was like one of the biggest box office. Like it's good.
It's good. The first one's better.
First one's better. Part three is watchable. Yeah, they're all watchable, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, Lost World, I'm gonna watch this. Part one, I'll watch it every single time.
I'll watch any of the Lord of the Rings on TV, including any of the Hobbit.
Yes.
I don't know if you feel the same about the Hobbit. I never gauged your.
No, I wasn't as big on the Hobbit as the original three, but it was good. I don't know if I can rewatch them all, but I can rewatch the first three for sure. And
you said you didn't like some of the later Harry Potter movies, but I agree with you. After I think it was
I didn't dislike them.
No, yeah. I think it was 5. I still like what was it? 5 was the Order of the Phoenix. No, I guess it was 6. Because even the books, after 5, I just kind of stopped reading it. Yeah. Which it wasn't nothing about the book. I just after 5, I didn't read it, and then I went back and read it.
See, to me, what happened with I think it's 5 where it starts to turn. I think that's when they first start to build Dumbledore's army, like they're training inside a secret room.
Oh yeah.
It was just too slow. There wasn't a lot going on, and then the thing about the first 4 that's amazing is that it has all those little quirky magical things. The charm of the world is very present and in your face. The first time you see the pictures and the people moving and talking in the pictures, you don't get that same feeling anymore after you've seen it every single time.
And that is where it kind of made the biggest turn, I guess. Because even though in 4, Goblet of Fire, Voldemort comes back. Yeah, it wasn't until 5 in the very beginning where they were at the World Quidditch Cup where the world should know they're back. Yeah, but no one believes it. No one wants to believe it. Everyone's corrupt, kind of stuff. And it goes kind of into a little bit more political. Yeah, it changes.
I
still like it a lot.
It's still good, but when it was focusing on the school year, it was just it felt like, oh, okay, this is the school year kind of, and I still liked them, but Deathly Hallows Part 1, for example, they spent half the movie in the forest. You know what I mean? And you have none of that quirky magical stuff. Although it has some of the best character stuff, and it has some of the best moments between her, because it's the sexual tension between them.
And not only that, it's they have no idea what the fuck to do.
Exactly. Yeah,
they're like, what the. It's instead of you know how usually the first movie sets stuff up. They had to set stuff up again. They had to set everything up again.
Yeah, and see, I actually like that one a lot. But it's a different movie than watching the first 4. It's a whole different experience, and I don't know. They weren't as good as the first 4. It doesn't have that magical feeling.
For me, I love them all. Yeah. Though I do agree with you. They there is not that it turns worse. Yeah. It just there is a change.
Shifts, yeah.
Because Harry's all wondrous and everything. Yeah. And then obviously 5 is 5 his godfather dies. You know everything starts even more shit than it was already happening to him. Yeah. Someone whose parents died and he was there. So I see what you mean.
The another one that's under the radar for me. No, it's not under the radar because it's a big franchise, but I really love is the Matrix.
Matrix, yes.
And it's actually weird. It's weird because I don't love Part 3.
I don't even remember Part 2 or 3. Honestly, I only remember Part 1. I've seen them all.
Yeah. See, the thing about Part 3, I don't know. I can watch Part 3 over and over again, but I don't think it's a great movie. But I can rewatch it. Yeah, there's something about it I like. Part 2 has some of the best moments ever filmed, action wise. The fight with all the Agent Smiths, where he fights 25 of them, and he's beating them up with a stick.
Which is the one? Doesn't he fight 1 million at one point?
He fights at the end of Part 3 of Revolutions. There's 1 million of them there, but he only fights one. But that one is the power of all of them put into one. That fight's okay. It's cool. There's a lot of special effects. And all of them, but I really
special effects in the Matrix.
Yeah, but in Reloaded, like the freeway scene is one of my favorite action scenes of all time. When Trinity and is going through the freeway and Morpheus, like it's a great scene. So I don't know that one's there. And part 1 is all time great. I think Matrix 1 is all time great.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But see, yeah,
franchise wise, I don't know how high.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
because it's hard to like rank by franchise because like certain movies might make the top, but not the whole.
Exactly. So that's the whole thing with like Jurassic Park and with like the Matrix 1,
Terminator. Like that's a great franchise.
Oh my god,
the first one was amazing. I mean, the ones after weren't so hot.
Yeah, and see, I don't think part 1 aged well. Like I don't think
I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe.
Yeah, I think if you watch part 1 now, it's not the same. But Terminator 2 is so good. It's like the best. It is probably the best action movie. It's just that movie has aged really well, and it's infinitely rewatchable. So, but then part 3 is like whatever. What was it like? It's Genesis, and then I forgot what the other one was.
I want to watch it, but I don't know. There's some movies that you just go in knowing you're not gonna care about so much, but you care about, but you know it's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say.
But yeah, so overall, just Star Wars to me it ranks up in the top 5. Just
for me, off definitely probably top 10 for me.
Yeah. I mean, and then so we don't know what's gonna happen with the Force. You know, the Force Awakens might be so good that it might bring it up to like number 1 for me personally. But looking at the whole franchise, you have 3 amazing movies, and you have 3 that are okay or not good, and that brings the franchise down to me. Even though those 3 are just like the tier 1 of if you just had those 3, it'd be number 1 for me because they're that good. They're that good, but those other 3 bring them down.
I wonder if that's like, because obviously, I mean, I'm not that much younger than you, but I don't know if they would be number 1 for me, even if it was just the first 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's so many other movies that I kind of grew up with more than I grew up with.
No, I mean, everybody's list will be different, but to me, just personally, like I've watched Empire literally like maybe 100 times. Like I've seen it many times, and then on top of that, just being a movie junkie, I love watching like the behind the scenes, like documentaries about Star Wars, because the original Star Wars was a turning point in film history. Like it really, you see all these directors like James Cameron and like Steven Spielberg, and they say when they watched this movie, like it redefined to them what a movie could be. You know, like the special effects was so ahead of its time that it completely changed how everything worked in the film industry. And
even for you, but more so for me, by the time, movies were coming out for me, they were already past that point.
Yeah, exactly. They're already molded themselves to be like a Star Wars summer blockbuster. Of course, Jaws is also credited for that too, because it was a big summer blockbuster, but as far as like special effects, and it did so
knowing
much.
What to do at the I can't imagine like how other movies must have felt when Star Wars came out.
It's like when you get a Christmas present, and like you get a small like Tonka car or whatever, and then like your cousin gets like the actual one that moves, and you're just sitting there looking at your little car. It's just like, man, God, that's how other movie directors must have been. Like,
at least for like, how the hell did he even?
How did he do that?
Doing that, like I wanted to, like I wonder how many film directors wanted to make a movie like that, but like because of or maybe did make movies like that, but because of the technology, or at least what they thought, they couldn't make it how they wanted.
And that's the thing too. I guess that's the definition of a revolutionary movie, is like if you're sitting there going like, how did they do that? I don't understand how they accomplished that. And it's so, there's been since then, I can't think of a movie that's done that. I can't. The only, maybe Avatar, as far as like computer technology, is like.
Well, I think even before Avatar, there had to be a movie that like, because a lot of stuff now is possibly because of whether you like it or not. Yeah. Possibly because of CGI.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a movie that I mean it couldn't be the Matrix, right? Like, because I'm sure there was CGI, but there has to be a movie
I feel like because I feel like it progressed. Yeah, I guess so. I guess what was the first like CGI? Because they had CGI from even back then, but it was just crude CGI.
Yeah.
I guess, thinking about it, Jurassic Park, I think I had a lot of people that way too, because it's just like, man, how do they do that with the dinosaurs? Like, is that like a real machine that's moving? And part of it is CGI in that movie. And I remember just thinking that specifically, like, is that a real, you know what I mean? And part of it is, and sometimes it isn't. Like, so I guess that's like, another one.
That's one of the things I really liked about Jurassic World. That even though I think it was mostly CGI, I don't know if they used that much animatronics in this one.
I think it's like 99%.
But like
CGI.
They look really good.
Yeah, they did look good. And
I still can't get like you said, it's not as good as the first one, but that scene with the raptors, them just like working together, like in the dark.
I think you like it more in the first one, but you don't want to say it.
Like I definitely like I like the second one. Like you didn't like the second one.
Yeah.
I like it a lot because of the raptors. Raptors have a lot to do with it, but I do like the first one more just because just how amazing it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the raptors were in that one too, but they weren't as prevalent.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I think CGI has come to the point now, like Jurassic World is a perfect example where it's like, before, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, they would use a lot of CGI, but you could tell when they're...
Neo? Like you mean like Neo? Like
no, no, but I mean like you could tell when they told the actor, like, just swing like this and we'll put the things in
so
later.
So many kid movies, dude.
Yeah. And like... with Jurassic World, it didn't feel that way to me. It did feel natural. It didn't look like they're like telling the actor like just stand right here and yell at the at the thing. And that's the main problem with the Star Wars prequels. It's just that I feel that all the time where I feel like
there's gonna be a giant, weird horned alien monster there.
Right there, just like. You're terrified, bro. Like you're
terrified, but you want to fight it.
And like you need a really good. Yeah, imagine acting that way. That must be terrible. And I think people are getting better at it. And Jurassic World felt, I think, really good for that. But particularly, just a side example, I was watching The Mummy. You remember The Mummy from like 1989? Great movie, The Mummy.
No, I thought you said 1989.
No, 1999.
Whoa, okay, yeah. I love that movie. I think I like. All of them. I could definitely watch all those movies.
That's a good franchise. Part 1 is really fun.
Yeah.
It's like really fun. One of the best adventure movies, like Indiana Jones. Anyways, there's a scene at the end where it's just like, if you watch it now, it's just clearly they're like.
Which scene?
It's at the end where he's fighting a bunch of skeleton warriors.
Oh yeah.
And like. He's just like swinging.
But you know what? I like the emotion you put into it, though.
No, I mean it's still good.
Okay,
but I mean, like if you watch it now, it's just so obvious.
Yeah,
it's so obvious that they're like, all right, he punched you, like, and and then like just swing this way, and it's just so obvious that he's swinging at nothing, and they're animated in.
Was it in part 1 or 2 where I forgot his name, but like the guy, like the guy that. He has the sword. He's a really cool guy that isn't. The
guy with the turban.
Yeah,
I forgot his name.
But when they don't, which one is it when they fight that army? Was it the second one? Oh yeah, that's when they fight the Scorpion King's army.
Yeah. Good series.
But they're like, I remember. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. You guys, let us know where you guys rank Star Wars. Like I said, I'll probably put it at number 5. The prequel trilogy. Messes it up for me. And you put it at like 10?
Yeah, probably like 8 or 9.
Yeah. That's it. That seems fair to me. Okay, last topic of the day before we leave. So tonight Star Wars comes out. We're recording this on a Thursday night. I'm putting it up tomorrow, Friday, but hopefully you guys watched it already. We're just gonna make quick predictions on how it's gonna be, if it's gonna be good, it's gonna live up to hype, is it too much hype? And what's the overall legacy going to be?
I'm gonna be pessimist. Like I really want the movie to be good, but I don't think it's gonna live up.
I think it cannot live up to the impossible hype. But I do think that they're gonna follow the Star Wars formula to a T, and it's gonna feel very familiar to like the original trilogy.
Okay.
And introduced with new characters.
It's just
I think that they shouldn't do that because then it's just like the same movie, but at the same time it's going to be good enough that it's gonna. I think people are gonna, for the most part, like it a lot. You know, but obviously people.
It's still such a mind trip that the same guy that did the Star Trek is directing
J.J. Abrams
directing the Star Wars movies. Like
blasphemy.
Like, well, I mean, maybe blasphemy, but like, how awesome can you imagine? Like, just being like someone that loves sci-fi in general and having the opportunity to direct two of the greatest sci-fi franchises of all time.
He's geek, like geek king, like
sci-fi fantasy god right there.
Yeah,
like,
king.
Whether the movie does bad or not, he was able to direct one movie in each. Because I don't know how many. I don't know if he's directing this next one.
I think it's safe to say, like, he was able to direct the two most iconic space fantasy franchises. Probably the two biggest fantasy franchises. Period. I mean,
barring like Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings or like Harry Potter. I mean, because Harry Potter too, just with the how big it is, you know. But
it's number 2 domestic box office of all time.
But it's an amazing feat for him, and I think he's gonna do a good job. I think I'm gonna like the movie. I definitely have not been keeping up with trailers. I'm not going to the midnight one because I didn't buy the tickets. Yeah, and you no way you're gonna get them now.
Yeah, no, I mean I could, but it's not. I love Star Wars and I do want to watch this movie.
Yeah,
but it's not something like. One, I didn't expect it. You know, like I didn't watch Jurassic World when it came out. When the day it came out, there's like it's just one of those things. Like I didn't even watch Indiana Jones, but you know something like. When Harry Potter was coming out, I would want to watch all of those at midnight.
Yeah.
When Marvel was coming out, I wanted to watch all those at midnight. You know.
Yeah.
It's just something like I guess I'm trying to purposely put my expectations really low for this movie.
Me too. I'm trying to. I didn't want to because they're at this last stretch of like 2-3 weeks. They've been coming out with like teasers, trailers, this and that.
I haven't seen any of that.
I've just stayed away from it.
I've watched every for Civil War the trailer. I've watched every single every single video on YouTube.
Every single frame that's been released.
Yeah, like every video that's like someone explaining what this could mean.
Yeah.
I've watched every single one of them. You know,
I've completely stayed away. I was broken by the prequel trilogy, because I said, I still own the original trilogy on VHS, and back then growing up, you had like 20 channels on cable, if you were lucky when I was a kid, and I just love Star Wars, I love the original trilogy, and then when the new one came out. I convinced myself into Phantom Menace, even though I didn't love it. I was like, no, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
We're speaking of prequels, and what movie I am going to be excited for, and it's kind of a prequel, the new Planet of the Apes movie.
Yeah,
because I really like.
That's a great franchise.
Yeah, I really like the new Planet of the Apes.
Me too. I love.
I mean, not the one with was it Tim Burton one? Who was it?
The Tim Burton one sucks.
Yeah, not that one. I mean, that one obviously kind of ruined, But this one, the new one that came out, was really good.
Yeah, Rise of the Planet of the Apes and I forgot what was the. Shit. I can't remember the other name, but yeah, both of them were good.
And then the new one's gonna come out not soon. I think it's next year. Next year.
Okay, yeah. That's another franchise in my top 10. Or just go back to that. Yeah.
Yeah, but really just good. Because you were saying about the how the prequel is kind of this prequel, they so far have done it well. Yeah. And I'm actually excited for the next one.
But yeah, I think it's going to be good. And I've been just I put my foot off the pedal and I'm just I'm not going to hype myself up. I'm just going to go watch it. And then hopefully I come out and this is the best movie ever made. Let's go back in. I convinced myself into Phantom Menace. And then over the years, I've just it's not that great. But at the time, I was like, oh, it's great. I watched it 5 times in theaters. But yeah, Attack of the Clones, I nearly cried just out of pain, just what's going on? This can't be the real. Who's fucking punky? Who's punking me right now? This can't be the real movie. So we'll see. Yeah. But my prediction is this is really gonna revive the franchise in a great way. I think it's gonna be way better than the prequels, and I don't think there's any way it can be as good as the originals, just because it can never live up to that expectation. You just in your mind you just make it too big. You make it too good. It might be just as good, but in your mind you're not gonna allow it to be as good as the original trilogy.
Yeah.
So yeah. Final thoughts?
Hopefully it's good.
Hopefully it's good.
That's it. That's all I can hope for.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us on our special Star Wars edition. We talked a lot of Star Wars.
Talked a lot about just movies.
Well, that's fun too. We love talking about movies. But next week we were gonna watch the movie in the next couple of days for sure, and we'll do like a spoiler full. Well, I'll put spoilers in the things that people know, but we'll talk about just what we thought about the movie and see what you guys thought about it too. All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace.